9 hidden signs she secretly wants you. Psychology tricks. There's something important you need to hear, and not just with your ears, but with your full attention. Because right now, there may be a woman in your life sending signals so quiet, so subtle, that you're missing them completely. And without realizing it, you might be walking past something real, something meaningful, something she's carefully trying to show you. Pause for a moment. Slow down. Listen closely. If you've ever found yourself wondering whether a woman truly wants to open up to you, not just casually, but emotionally, mentally, even at the level of her soul, then this is where things begin to make sense. But don't rush. Stay with this, because there's a truth here that can change the way you see everything before you take your next step with her. As the writer Erich Fromm once said, love is not something natural. Rather, it requires discipline, concentration, patience, faith, and the overcoming of narcissism. And that's exactly what most men miss. They look for obvious signs, while real connection lives in the subtle, the quiet, the unspoken. You're about to step into a part of her world that she doesn't show easily, a place where her body language shifts without her even noticing, where her voice softens just a little around you, where her natural instincts begin to lean towards you, even if she tries to mask it with humor, distance, or confidence. Because here's the truth, women rarely announce their attraction directly. Instead, they reveal it in fragments, in small emotional openings, in patterns of behavior that only the right man will recognize. And maybe, if you pay attention, you'll realize that man could be you. No one really teaches you how to read these signals, not the real ones. A woman doesn't give herself her true self easily. When she begins to, it's because something in you has stirred something deeper in her. It could be a sense of safety, a quiet respect, a spark of desire, or even something she can't fully explain herself. And this goes far beyond physical attraction. This is about the energy she directs only toward a man she feels she can trust with her softer, more vulnerable side. What you're about to understand is like finally turning on the light in a room you've been navigating in the dark for years. Suddenly things become clear. So take a breath. Let go of past confusion. Stop overanalyzing. Stop guessing whether she's interested or just being polite. Instead, begin to observe with calm awareness. Because in the end, the signals are there. Not loud, not obvious, but real. And if you learn to see them, you won't have to chase clarity anymore. Clarity will come to you. 1. She reveals attraction through subtle emotional signals. She reveals attraction through subtle emotional signals, and if you're paying attention, you'll see it long before she ever says a word. She wants you closer, but she won't hand that truth to you directly. Instead, she lets it slip through small, almost invisible behaviors, the kind that require patience, awareness, and emotional control to truly understand. And this is where most men fail, because they look for loud signs, clear confessions, or obvious pursuit. But that is not how female psychology works. Attraction at this level is quiet, controlled, and deeply instinctive. So don't expect noise, expect nuance. When a woman begins to feel something real, something that pulls her toward you emotionally, mentally, even spiritually, she doesn't suddenly drop her guard. She softens it. She tests the space between you. She lets it bend slowly. And those small shifts, those fleeting changes in tone, eye contact, responsiveness, those are the real psychology tricks hidden in plain sight, and you must learn to see them. Don't rush to label it. Don't pressure her to define it. Be calm, be present, because that is exactly what allows her to feel safe enough to continue opening. Understand this clearly. Her attraction will often show up in reactions she doesn't fully control, a slightly longer glance, a softer voice, a subtle effort to stay connected. That is female psychology expressing interest without risk. And if you are unaware, you will overlook it completely. As Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life. This applies here because if you don't understand these patterns, you will misread her silence as disinterest, when in reality, it may be the beginning of how to fall in love at a deeper level. So don't chase intensity. Don't look for drama. Be the man who notices the quiet shifts, the emotional undercurrent, the unspoken invitation, because that is where real connection begins. And when you align yourself with these psychology tricks, when you truly understand female psychology, you stop guessing and start seeing clearly. That clarity is what separates a man who confuses himself from a man who naturally draws her in. Because attraction isn't about forcing a moment, it's about recognizing it when it quietly arrives. 2. She listens, mirrors, and softens around you. She listens, she mirrors, and most importantly, she softens around you, and that is never accidental. You will notice it first in the way she gives you her full attention, the kind that feels rare in a distracted world. She doesn't just hear you, she absorbs you. While others get fragments of her focus, you receive presence, complete, undivided. Her eyes linger just a second longer than necessary, not with surface desire, but with something deeper, something curious, something quietly searching. Don't ignore that. Be aware. That is emotional investment beginning to form. She starts to value what you say, even the small things, even the things you think don't matter. She invites you into conversation she keeps closed off from others. That is not casual. That is selective openness. You must understand, when a woman chooses to reveal her inner world, she is not experimenting. She is evaluating. And then comes the subtle shift. She begins to mirror you, not consciously, not strategically, naturally. Your tone becomes her tone. Your rhythm becomes her rhythm. Your humor starts echoing back to you in her words. This is not imitation. That is alignment. That is her subconscious saying, I feel safe here. A high-value man recognizes this without chasing it. He doesn't rush. He doesn't question every signal. He observes. He remains steady. That is how you attract women, through grounded masculine energy, not forced reactions. But the deepest signal is not in what she says. It is in how she softens. Watch closely. The guarded version of her, the one she shows the world, begins to fade. In its place comes something gentler, warmer, real. She lowers her voice when she speaks to you, not to impress, but because her guard is down. Her facial expressions become softer, more open. She might tuck her hair behind her ear, a small gesture, but one that reveals comfort and vulnerability. Don't overlook the small things. That is where truth lives. Even her breathing changes, slower, deeper, calmer. That is not a decision. That is instinct. Her body is responding to your presence before her mind even catches up. And this is where most men fail. They overanalyze, they rush, they break the natural flow. Don't do that. Be still. Be centered. A high-value man understands that attraction grows in calm, not chaos. Masculine energy is not loud. It is grounded. It is patient. So when you see these signs, don't chase validation. Don't force outcomes. Be present. That is your power. That is how you truly attract women, by becoming the man who doesn't need to prove, doesn't need to push, but simply allows connection to unfold. If you recognize this energy, don't overthink it. Feel it, respect it, and rise to meet it. A woman doesn't soften like that for just anyone. And if you see these signs in your life, drop a comment right now. I recognize her silence, and I respond with presence. Like this video, subscribe for more insight, and remember, don't chase signals. Be the man who naturally receives them. 3. She becomes emotionally attentive and invested. She becomes emotionally attentive and invested, and this is where most men fail to see what is right in front of them. When a woman truly wants you, she doesn't announce it loudly. She reveals it quietly, through attention, through presence, through care that feels almost effortless. She notices the shift in your tone before you say a word. She remembers the small detail you mentioned once and brings it back at the exact moment you need it. That is not sluche. That is emotional investment. That is intention. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. And here is the truth. A woman who invests emotionally is responding to the stability of your inner world. Be grounded. Be steady. Be the man whose presence feels like calm in a noisy world. That is the foundation of old Stoic wisdom. But understand this clearly. She does not invest in chaos. She invests in clarity. She invests in a man who does not chase validation, but creates certainty. When she feels understood, when she feels safe without needing to ask for it, she leans in. She gives more. She becomes more attentive, more present, more emotionally available. This is not accidental. This is selective. This is intentional. In modern life, where distractions are everywhere and attention is cheap, her focus becomes the rarest currency. And when she gives that to you, you must recognize it. You must respect it. You must rise to meet it. And then comes the signal most powerful of all, her vulnerability. It doesn't arrive with warning. It slips through in small, unguarded moments. She shares a quiet fear. She admits something she's not proud of. She reveals a dream she hasn't told anyone else. That is not casual conversation. That is trust in its earliest form. That is her opening the door, just slightly, to see what kind of man you truly are. Will you dismiss it? Will you overlook it? Or will you step forward with presence and strength? Listen carefully. Do not rush. Do not overreact. Do not try to impress. Be calm. Be aware. Be the man with an iron mind who understands that emotional depth is not something to conquer, but something to honor. This is where Stoicism win becomes real, not in words, but in behavior. You remain composed. You remain respectful. You remain centered. That is power. That is attraction built on truth, not illusion. Repeat this to yourself. Attention is investment, vulnerability is trust, and consistency is your responsibility. A man who understands this operates differently. He doesn't guess. He observes. He doesn't chase. He attracts. He doesn't force. He allows. That is old Stoic wisdom in action. That is how you master connection in a world full of confusion. So when you see these signs, don't hesitate in doubt. Step forward with clarity. Stand firm with purpose. Become the man who recognizes value when it appears quietly. Because most men will miss it, but you won't, not anymore. 4. She shows hidden reactions and seeks your approval. She will rarely announce her feelings out loud, so don't expect clarity handed to you. Learn to read what is quietly revealed instead. This is where real psychology tricks begin to matter, because when a woman is trying to stay composed, her mind may tell her to act normal, to protect her image, to remain steady, but her behavior will always whisper the truth louder than her words ever could. And if you are paying attention, you will notice it. She becomes deeply aware of your presence, not nervous, not restless, but tuned in, almost like her internal compass keeps pointing back to you. She tracks your movements without effort. She notices when you enter a room, when your tone shifts, when your attention drifts. And this is not coincidence. This is female psychology in action, where emotional interest sharpens perception, making her more present around you than she is with anyone else. Don't ignore this because most men miss it. They wait for obvious signals while the real ones pass quietly in front of them, and that is where they lose the opportunity to truly understand how to fall in love in a grounded, intelligent way. Now pay closer attention to what happens when your focus moves away from her, because this is where things get even more revealing. She will not create a scene. She will not compete loudly, but there will be a subtle shift, a soft withdrawal. Her voice may lower. Her energy may pull back slightly, not out of manipulation, not to control you, but because something inside her reacts instinctively to losing your attention. And that reaction is not random. It is emotional investment forming beneath the surface, faster than she expected and deeper than she planned. Understand this clearly. Women do not experience that quiet tightening unless they are opening themselves emotionally. And this is one of the most overlooked psychology tricks that separates awareness from confusion. You must stay observant, not reactive, because if you chase the reaction, you lose your edge. But if you calmly notice it, you gain understanding. Then comes the most delicate signal of all, her need for your approval. And this is where many men misunderstand the situation. They think it is about validation or attention, but it is not. It is about connection forming in subtle ways. She adjusts small things about herself when she knows she will see you. Nothing dramatic, nothing obvious, just enough to feel aligned with your presence. She listens more carefully to your words, watches your reactions more closely, and hopes, quietly, almost invisibly, that you notice her effort. That is not vanity. That is investment. That is female psychology revealing a desire to be seen by you specifically, not by everyone, just by you. And here's what you must do. Don't overlook it. Don't overreact to it. Don't become needy for it. Be steady. Be aware. Be grounded. Because attraction grows strongest in calm environments, not chaotic ones. And if you truly want to understand how to fall in love without losing yourself, you must learn to recognize these subtle patterns without forcing them, without rushing them, without turning them into a checklist. This is where real mastery begins, not in chasing signals, but in understanding them, not in reacting emotionally, but in staying centered while observing emotional truth unfold naturally. Because when a woman is quietly seeking your attention, adjusting herself around you, and reacting subtly when your focus shifts, she is not playing games. She is revealing interest in the only way that feels safe to her. And your role is simple. Notice it, respect it, and don't break the calm presence that allowed it to appear in the first place. If you recognize these signs, don't ignore them. Pay attention, stay grounded, and respond with quiet confidence. Like this video, subscribe for more sharp insights, and most importantly, take action now. Drop this in the comments to lock it in your mind. I see what is unspoken, and I move with calm confidence. 5. She opens emotionally and invites you into her world. She opens emotionally and invites you into her world, and you must understand something right now. This is not casual, this is not random, this is not something she gives to just anyone. Emotional openness, even in small doses, is one of the clearest, most powerful signals a woman can offer. Don't overlook it. Don't brush it aside. When a woman begins to trust you with her unfiltered thoughts, her real opinions, her quiet fears, her hidden hopes, it means her internal walls are lowering, slowly but surely, in a way she cannot easily rebuild. That is not a game. That is not performance. That is investment. Be sharp enough to notice the difference. Many men wait for loud signals, obvious moves, direct words. But a high-value man understands that real attraction often moves in silence. It reveals itself in subtle shifts, in tone, in timing, in vulnerability. When she starts letting you into the private corners of her mind, she is not just talking, she is offering access. That access is rare. That access is earned. And that access is where real connection begins. Don't interrupt it with impatience. Don't rush it with pressure. Be steady. That is what masculine energy looks like at its best. Calm, grounded, present. When she shares something personal, listen fully. Not halfway, not distracted, not waiting for your turn to speak. You must listen like it matters, because to her, it does. Every word she chooses to reveal is a step toward you. Every thought she trusts you with is a bridge being built. And here's the truth most men miss. She doesn't even fully realize she's doing it. Emotional openness is not always a conscious decision. It happens beneath awareness. She simply feels safe. She feels seen. She feels understood. And in that space, she begins to unfold naturally. That is how you attract women in a way that feels effortless, not by forcing attraction, but by creating an environment where it grows on its own. Notice the details. She tells you stories she doesn't tell others. She shares opinions she usually keeps to herself. She lets her guard slip just for a moment, then maybe pulls it back, but not all the way. That hesitation, that soft return, that's where the truth lives. Because once a woman opens that emotional door, even slightly, it never fully closes again. You must recognize that moment. You must respect it. Don't treat her openness like a prize to win. Treat it like something to protect. A high-value man does not exploit vulnerability, he honors it. He creates consistency. He builds trust through his actions, not just his words. Be the man who remains steady when emotions rise. Be the man who doesn't get overwhelmed, doesn't pull away, doesn't become uncertain. That is how masculine energy becomes magnetic. That is how you attract women without chasing them. And understand this clearly. When she invites you into her inner world, she is testing something deeper than attraction. She is testing emotional safety. She is asking, without saying it directly, can you handle me as I am? Not the polished version, not the easy version, the real version. You must answer that question through your presence, not your promises. Don't overanalyze her words. Feel the intention behind them. When she opens up, she is not looking for solutions all the time. Sometimes she is simply looking for understanding. Be that. Be the man who can sit in the moment without needing to fix everything. That is strength. That is control. That is masculine energy at its highest level. And here's where most men go wrong. They get excited. They push too fast. They try to escalate too quickly. Don't do that. Don't mistake emotional openness for immediate readiness. It is a sign of trust, not a green light for pressure. You must match her pace. You must move with awareness. That is what separates a high-value man from the rest. When you handle her openness with care, something powerful happens. She begins to open more, deeper, freer, not because she has to, but because she wants to. Because with you, she feels something rare, stability, clarity, respect. That is how you attract women in a way that lasts, not through tricks, not through manipulation, through presence, through discipline, through emotional intelligence. So pay attention. When she lets you into her world, even just a little, don't take it lightly. That is the moment everything begins to shift. That is the moment where connection turns into something real. And if you handle it right, calmly, confidently, consistently, you won't just understand her better. You'll become the man she feels safe opening up to again and again. Be that man. 6. She expresses intimacy through personality, proximity, and laughter. There comes a point where attraction is no longer something she hides behind words. It becomes something she lives through her presence, her energy, and the quiet ways she lets you closer into her world. And if you are paying attention, if you are grounded in old Stoic wisdom, you will recognize that this is not random behavior. This is deliberate openness wrapped in subtlety. Because when a woman begins to express intimacy through her personality, what you are witnessing is trust unfolding in real time. She is no longer showing you a polished version of herself. She is revealing layers. And that is rare. That is valuable. That is not to be taken lightly. One moment she is soft, calm, almost nurturing in her tone, and the next she is teasing you, playful, unpredictable, even a little chaotic. And many men misunderstand this shift. They think it is inconsistency. They think it is confusion. But that is where they fail. That is where they lose the moment. Because as the philosopher Socrates once said, be as you wish to seem. And what she is doing is allowing herself to be seen fully, not just in fragments, not just in safe portions, but completely. And that is intimacy in its purest psychological form. She is testing the space between you, asking without words, can you handle all of me? And you must not hesitate here. You must not shrink. You must hold your frame. Because a man grounded in Stoicism understands that emotional variety is not a threat. It is an invitation to lead with calm, to respond with presence, to stay centered, no matter what version of her shows up. And this is where your iron mind becomes essential. Because without it, you will react instead of respond. You will question instead of understand, and you will miss what is right in front of you. Now watch her proximity, because proximity is never accidental. She will find reasons to be near you, small reasons, almost invisible reasons. She will sit closer than necessary, stand within your space, lean in when she speaks. And these are not random movements. This is her body aligning with her emotions. This is her subconscious saying what her words are still protecting. And as Marcus Aurelius taught, you have power over your mind, not outside events. So do not overthink it. Do not chase it. Simply observe and remain steady. Because when a woman moves closer, she is not asking you to chase. She is rewarding you for already being grounded, already being stable, already being a man she feels safe around. And safety is the foundation of attraction, not noise, not performance, not force. safety. And then there is her laughter. And this is where most men completely overlook the truth. Because laughter is not just sound, it is release, it is surrender. It is a signal that her guard is lowering, that she is allowing herself to enjoy your presence without calculation, without holding back. Her laughter becomes lighter, freer, more genuine. And when that shift happens, you must recognize it for what it is: emotional permission. She is allowing herself to feel good around you, and that is not something she gives to everyone. That is earned. That is built over time through consistency, through calm energy, through the quiet strength that old Stoic wisdom teaches. And you must not interrupt this process by becoming needy or overly eager. Do not rush to define it. Do not rush to label it. Just stay present. Because, as Epictetus said, he who is not a good servant will not be a good master. And in this context, it means if you cannot master your reactions, you cannot lead the emotional direction of the interaction. So stay composed, stay observant, stay in control of yourself. That is your power. That is your edge. And in modern life, where everything moves fast, where people rush connections, rush emotions, rush outcomes, you must be the exception. You must slow down. You must see what others miss, because this is not about chasing attention. This is about recognizing alignment. When she shows you different sides of her personality, she is investing. When she moves closer, she is choosing. When she laughs freely, she is opening. And you must meet that with stability, not intensity, with confidence, not pressure. Because the man who wins is not the loudest, not the most aggressive, but the one who understands human nature. The one who applies Stoicism win in real moments. The one who carries an iron mind in emotional situations. And that is the man who does not just attract connection, he sustains it, he deepens it, he leads it without force. So remember this clearly. Do not ignore the subtle. Do not underestimate the quiet signals. Because in a world full of noise, real attraction speaks softly, and only the man who is calm enough, disciplined enough, and aware enough will hear it, understand it, and turn it into something meaningful, something real, something lasting. If you truly understand what you just heard, then don't hesitate, act on it. A woman doesn't open up her personality, move closer, and laugh freely unless she feels something real. That is your signal, that is your moment. Most men miss it because they overthink, hesitate, or doubt themselves. Don't be that man. Step forward with calm confidence. Recognize the energy. Respond with presence. Lead with clarity. Because when she shows you all sides of herself, she is silently asking one question: will you stay or will you fold? If you're ready to rise above hesitation and move like a man who understands the game, drop this in the comments right now. I recognize the signs and I act with confidence. 7. She tests, aligns, and allows your influence. She begins to test, to align, and most importantly, to allow your influence. And if you miss this stage, you miss everything, because this is where attraction quietly shifts from curiosity into emotional investment. Understand this clearly. When a woman asks deeper questions, she is not interrogating you, she is mapping you. She wants to see your structure, your values, your standards, your direction. This is female psychology at its most revealing, and most men fail here because they try to impress instead of express. Don't perform. Be grounded. That is what she is searching for. She is imagining what it would feel like to be close to you, to trust you, to build something with you, and every answer you give either strengthens that vision or weakens it. You must recognize that these moments are not casual conversations. They are quiet evaluations. And here is where the real psychology tricks begin. Not manipulation, but awareness. When you understand how to fall in love from a position of strength, not need, you naturally communicate certainty, and certainty is what draws her in. Now pay attention to the deeper layer, the one most men overlook. She starts allowing your influence into her world. Not control, never control, influence. There is a difference, and that difference defines whether attraction grows or collapses. When she values what you say, when she remembers your words days later, when she tries something you once suggested, this is not random behavior. This is respect in motion. This is admiration becoming action. In female psychology, a woman only opens herself to influence when she feels safe, when she feels drawn, and when she sees something in you worth aligning with. That is rare. That is powerful. And you must not take it lightly. Don't rush it. Don't overreact. Be steady. Because the moment you try to force influence, you lose it. But when you remain calm, centered, and consistent, your presence alone begins to shape her decisions. This is where many men make critical mistakes. They become overly eager. They start giving too much advice. They try to lead before they've earned the position to do so. Don't do that. Be patient. Influence is not taken, it is given. And when it is given, it is one of the strongest signs of attraction you will ever experience. This is one of the most effective psychology tricks you must understand. The less you chase control, the more natural influence you gain. The more you focus on your own direction, the more she becomes curious about aligning with it. That is how to fall in love without losing your center. That is how to create connection without pressure. And here's the truth most people avoid. Attraction is not built on constant validation. It is built on quiet consistency. When she tests you, she is not trying to catch you failing. She is hoping to see you stand firm. When she aligns with you, she is not losing herself. She is exploring connection. And when she allows your influence, she is not surrendering control. She is choosing trust. You must understand this deeply if you want to navigate female psychology with clarity and strength. Don't second-guess every move. Don't overanalyze every word. Be present. Be intentional. That is enough. So when you see these signs, when she asks more, listens deeper, and subtly shifts her behavior based on your presence, recognize it for what it is: a doorway, a moment of opportunity, a signal that attraction is no longer surface level. And if you handle it correctly, with calm confidence and emotional discipline, you don't just attract her, you create something real. That is the power of understanding psychology tricks. That is the essence of mastering female psychology. And that is how to fall in love in a way that is grounded, mutual, and built to last. 8. She integrates you into her life and supports you deeply. She integrates you into her life and supports you deeply, and don't underestimate what that really means. This is not surface-level interest. This is not casual attention. This is emotional investment unfolding in real time. At first, it may look simple. She sends you small updates, a message about her day, a random thought that crossed her mind, a quiet moment she chose to share with you instead of keeping to herself. Don't brush this off. That is not randomness. That is inclusion. She is slowly, carefully weaving you into the fabric of her daily life. That is how emotional integration begins. A high-value man recognizes this immediately. He doesn't ignore it. He doesn't overreact either. He understands this is trust being built, piece by piece. Be aware of how she starts tuning into you, not just what you say, but how you feel. Your tone shifts slightly, she notices. Your energy drops, she senses it. You don't need to explain everything. She reads between the lines. That is not coincidence. That is emotional attunement, and you must respect it. Don't fake your emotions. Don't hide behind a mask. Be grounded. Be steady. Masculine energy is not about being distant. It is about being centered. When she feels safe reading your emotional world, she moves closer, not away. That is how you attract women on a deeper level, not through performance, but through presence. Then comes something even more revealing. She remembers, not just the big things, not just birthdays or major events. She remembers the small details, the story you told once and forgot, the preference you mentioned casually, the thing that made you laugh on a random afternoon. That is emotional prioritization. That is her mind placing you in a space that matters. Don't take that lightly. A high-value man pays attention when a woman invests memory into him, because memory is effort, memory is care. Memory is proof that you are not just another face passing through her life. And then, quietly, without noise or announcement, she begins to support you. Not loudly, not for recognition, but consistently. She encourages you when you doubt yourself. She stands steady when things feel uncertain. She listens when you need clarity. She becomes a calm space in your chaos. That is rare. Don't overlook it. Don't assume it will always be there. You must meet that energy with stability, not dependency. Masculine energy thrives on balance. Accept support, but never rely on it to define you. Be strong on your own, yet open enough to receive. That is the balance that allows you to attract women who are emotionally grounded. Don't rush this process. Don't force it. Emotional integration cannot be demanded. It must be earned. It grows naturally when you show consistency, when you act with clarity, when your words and actions align. Be the man who doesn't confuse her. Be the man who doesn't create emotional chaos. That is how trust deepens. That is how she feels safe enough to let you into her world without hesitation. At the same time, don't become passive. Don't just receive without giving. A high-value man reciprocates. He listens back. He remembers too. He supports in his own way, not by losing himself, but by standing firm and offering stability. That is what makes your masculine energy attractive. Not control, not pressure, but calm, grounded strength. Understand this clearly. When a woman integrates you into her life, she is not just sharing time. She is sharing space in her mind, her emotions, her daily rhythm. That is significant. That is meaningful. That is not something she does lightly. You must recognize it for what it is, a sign of growing connection, a sign of emotional depth, a sign that you are becoming part of her inner world. So don't ignore the small messages. Don't overlook the quiet support. Don't dismiss the details she remembers about you. That is where the truth lives. That is where real attraction reveals itself, not in loud declarations, but in consistent, gentle presence. Be aware, be grounded. Be the man who understands the difference between attention and investment, because once you see it clearly, you stop chasing and you start attracting. If you made it this far, understand this: you're not just observing her behavior, you're learning to read emotional truth. When a woman begins to integrate you into her daily life, when she remembers the smallest details about you, when she supports you quietly without asking for recognition, that's not casual. That's investment. That's connection. Don't ignore it. Be aware. Be grounded. That is where real attraction lives. If this message resonates with you, like the video, share it with someone who needs clarity, and don't forget to subscribe for more insight. Comment to remember: I recognize real connection, and I attract it with calm, grounded, masculine energy. 9. She reveals vulnerability and chooses you internally. She reveals vulnerability, and you must understand this clearly. This is where the game changes. This is where surface attraction turns into something real, something lasting, something powerful. When a woman shows you her fears, her doubts, the parts of herself she keeps hidden from the world, that is not fragility, that is trust in its purest form. And as Brené Brown once said, vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, and connection. So don't misread it. Don't take it lightly. And most importantly, don't mishandle it. You must remain grounded, calm, steady. This is where old Stoic wisdom separates the reactive man from the man with an iron mind. While others become overwhelmed, you stay composed. You stay present. You become the safe space she is unconsciously searching for. Understand this: when her desire becomes quiet, when it is no longer loud or impulsive but steady and certain, she is no longer exploring. She is deciding. And that decision happens internally long before she ever says a word. She begins to picture you in her life, not as an idea, but as a reality. She imagines your voice in her day, your presence in her struggles, your energy in her peace. And this is where most men fail. They try to impress when they should stabilize. They try to chase when they should anchor. But Stoicism teaches you differently. It teaches you that consistency beats intensity, that calm strength beats temporary excitement, that showing up the same way every day builds trust far deeper than any grand gesture ever could. Don't rush this stage. Don't try to force clarity. Be the man who is already clear within himself. Because a woman does not feel safe around control, she feels safe around emotional steadiness, around respect, around a man who does not collapse under pressure or disappear when things get real. And as Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. So master your reactions, master your presence, master your energy. Understand her tests not as obstacles, but as invitations. She is not trying to break you. She is trying to understand if you can hold space for her heart without losing yourself, if you can remain grounded when she becomes uncertain, if you can stay steady when emotions rise. And this is where your iron mind must lead, not your impulses, not your ego, not your fear of losing her. Because the moment you react emotionally, you lose the very thing she is searching for: stability. Modern life is fast, chaotic, full of distractions and shallow connections. But deep connection still follows ancient rules, the same rules found in old Stoic wisdom, the same principles that Stoicism win is built upon. Be consistent, be respectful, be emotionally present, and above all, be in control of yourself. When she silently chooses you, there is no announcement, no dramatic confession, just a quiet shift in her energy, a deeper investment, a stronger presence. And you will feel it if you are paying attention. But you must earn that choice every day, not through pressure, not through performance, but through presence, through calm, through unwavering character. Remember this, and remember it well. Don't chase her decision. Become the man who makes that decision easy. Don't seek validation. Become the source of stability. Don't react to every emotional wave. Become the shore that remains unmoved. Because in the end, the man who wins is not the loudest, not the fastest, but the one who stands firm, the one who embodies Stoicism win, the one who lives with an iron mind and understands that real attraction is not created in moments of intensity, but in the quiet certainty of who you are every single day. Hey, my friend, I'm really glad you stayed all the way to the end. That already tells me something about you. You're not here to guess. You're here to understand. Listen closely. When you start to recognize these signs, don't rush in. Don't try to force anything. And don't let doubt take over your mind. The strongest move you can make is simple. Stay calm, stay grounded, stay in control of yourself. A woman who shows these signals isn't looking for a perfect man. She's looking for a man who is steady, respectful, and aware of who he is. That's where your power is. Think about this. If something inside you shifted while watching this, that's not accidentally. That's awareness growing, and most men never reach that point. So take a breath, straighten your posture, move with intention, become the man who doesn't chase blindly, but understands deeply and acts with quiet confidence. And if this message resonated with you, make sure you subscribe and like the video so you don't miss the kind of psychology that helps you move through life with clarity, confidence, and real strength.